Friends, Aaron here, making a video that I've been thinking about making for some time about mask wearing. I'm not the first person to put a video out like this, and you've probably maybe seen some of these if you're actually like me, in that you want to try to find things out for yourself as much as possible because you don't really feel like you can trust everything you're being told. Look, you can believe what's being put out there on the television, where you have people telling you that mask wearing is safe. There is information that's been out there for a very long time that calls that sort of blanket statement into question. So anyway, I'm just going to get straight into this, and then maybe I'll make a couple of other points. I'll probably share a couple links maybe in the description or something. But I'm not just going to put a mask on my face and wear it around all day, or even for an hour here or an hour there, without understanding what it's about. There's plenty of other things to talk about. There's other issues at play here when it comes to this mandate that people wear masks, whether it be in stores or just out in public or whatever. Even the suggestion that people should be wearing masks in their home. I mean, this is something that's been bandied about. Anyway, for the point of saying that I want to know as much as I can know, I'm talking about me personally, experientially. And part of that for me is, even though I am not a wealthy man, financially speaking, I'm wealthy in lots of other ways, of course. I purchased a couple of meters, and they're not cheap. They're not cheap, and I could certainly spend money on other things. So what I have here is a CO2 meter, and a CO2 meter that is a very good one. This meter, it's not the most expensive, but it certainly isn't the cheapest, and it's got good certifications. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but this measures, interestingly enough, also air temperature and humidity. And I'm actually quite comfortable. I'm not sweating anymore, actually. It's about 93 degrees, and we have about 60% relative humidity where I'm sitting right now outside. So average ambient air temperature outside in the fresh air, as far as I read, should be somewhere between 350 and 450 parts per million carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide should be 350 to 450 parts per million. Our air quality around here is not that good. I'm actually in the city of New Orleans at the moment, waiting for a subcontractor to finish up at a property that I need to lock up when he's done. But anyway, at home I'm going to see somewhere in the neighborhood of 450 to 470 probably. My air quality at home is a little better outside of the city than it is here. We're actually close to 500 parts per million, which isn't great. So a couple things. You can find a number of different things. There's I think the more readily found information really presents the idea that if you don't get up into the 30, 40, 50,000 parts per million range, which would be like 3, 4, 5% of your air molecules that you're taking in are actually carbon dioxide, that there's no problem. But that's not true, as far as I can tell. And I'm saying that I've read a lot about this subject. It's hard to explain everything, show you everything. You've got to look into it for yourself if you care. But 1,000 to 1,100 is considered sort of tolerable indoor air, and 800 is good. That's like good air, and anything lower than that, of course, is even better. You can definitely find vetted information that 2,000 to 5,000 parts per million, that's 0.2 to 0.5% of your air being carbon dioxide, is going to cause you to have potentially poor concentration, loss of attention, increased heart rate, and maybe even feel some nausea. Once you get past that sort of 5,000 range up to maybe in the neighborhood of 8 to 10,000, you can actually begin to experience oxygen deprivation or hypoxia. So there have been videos that people have put out there talking about hypoxia, a condition where you're not getting enough oxygen. And also there was one really good video put out on the High Wire that I've seen, and a couple of others since then, about hypercapnia, which is when you have too much CO2 or carbon dioxide in your system, which increases your body's acidity, increases cortisol production. There's a number of things that go on there. So I actually purchased both a certified O2 meter and bought a CO2 meter, and these things are not cheap. But I wanted to know, I'm not going to just strap masks on my face. With all that we've learned about health and how important it is that we take care of our own body for our health, and then have my wife go out wearing masks. Now, I've been doing construction work for a long time, and wearing respirators and masks for short periods of time to protect myself from inhaling chemicals, things with VOCs, volatile chemicals in the air that are dangerous, or particles like drywall dust, or cutting some material that's going to put fine dust in the air that's going to be harmful for me. And I've known for a long time that wearing those things is uncomfortable for me. That not only do I feel a shortness of breath, but I will feel, in addition to that, I'll feel maybe lightheaded, have a headache, nauseous, things like that. Now, feeling that way, yeah, okay, you're not necessarily at a point where you're going to pass out and die, but what is going on in your body while you're experiencing these things? And this is just a short period of time. But anyway, I wanted to show you what I get, first of all, with the oxygen meter, and I'm going to just use a couple of different things to show you what I get here. Now, OSHA standards for oxygen, and this is percentage of oxygen molecules in your air, and it's pretty high. It should be ambient levels somewhere around 21%. My meter is calibrated at 20.9%. Oxygen levels below 19.5% are considered unsafe for working by OSHA. So what I found, the meter that I have for the oxygen, if you can see it, maybe not, it says 20.9. I'm wearing a variety of masks that I've tried out. I put these on. This doesn't change for me if I just put this hose, which is connected to the meter, up here by my face, just near my face, not like breathing on it, like into the hose. That would change it. And I can show you that if it's worth it for you. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see my screen. It hasn't changed at all. I've got this right by my face. It hasn't changed. It's still at 20.9. And you're going to have to take my word for it for some of this. I'm not going to show you every single thing, but it still hasn't changed. It's still 20.9. Hasn't changed at all. Now if I blow on it, just to show you, didn't take very long. It's alarming, and it's going to continue to alarm until it comes back up to 19.5%. It went down under 16. It's coming back up 16.9, 17.1. Well, you can see that. And it's going to keep beeping. 18.3, 18.4. It's going to stay in alarm until it hits 19.5. We're almost there, which is the limit that it's calibrated for by OSHA standards. So 19.5, it stopped. Then it's going to creep right back up to 20.9 because that's our ambient air. Alright, so I'm going to put on just like the cheapest paper mask they're giving away at some of the stores. I don't know which way this thing goes, probably this way. In case you don't have a mask. They put this thing on here, kind of hold it in here. I'm going to put this in here, and just hold it up here by my face. And just kind of close this space where it is. And just breathe, you know, normally into it and see what happens. Now, I find that the CO2 meter is a little faster, and the oxygen meter takes a little longer. Hold on, I gotta hold the hose up there. All right, there we go. No, this mask is not perfectly tight, of course. And some of them are better than others. Now this one's not too bad, actually. Depends. Like, they're not super consistent. There it goes. So it's not going to stay. It goes up and down. I mean, that's the thing. I kind of feel like my theory about this, now look, the hose is, it's right here in my mouth. The hose is right here. It started falling out too. It was kind of sitting in my beard. It wasn't even right next to my mouth. I got down to 17.9, 17.8, 17.9 wearing this mask, and then it'll come back up 19.7. It's up to 20.9 again already, but it'll come back up, it'll go back down. I kind of feel like not every exhaled breath is equal. I mean, that's just my thought, because it kind of goes up and down, and it's hard to hold the thing like perfectly in place. Now this mask is a fabric mask, a double layer fabric mask that I've owned for quite some time, because I hate wearing these chemical masks, ones that I'm going to show you. This is, it's got like a flannel lining, and then the lining on the outside is actually got more holes on it than typically what you'd see people wearing. I think all of these are better than what most people are wearing. I wear this when I don't want to breathe in drywall dust. I hope you can hear me. I know I can't see my face, so I'm going to put the, hold on, I got to feel it through my beard. Put the mask, put the hose up here where it needs to be, and just sort of hold it in that area and breathe. Okay, so this one I found actually wasn't too bad, which is good to know. But I've already dropped right down, and again, I can't show you this, but the hose is just right under my bottom lip, and it moves. But if I hold it there, so I got down to 19.2. And the funny thing is, when I talk, it's different. Like, you let out less carbon dioxide, it seems. Just breathing. So, real close. 19.7. Comes back up. This one I find isn't really all that bad. It does alarm, and the funny thing about it is, like, it'll go up and down. I'm not even going to keep showing you this. There, it just actually dipped down to 19.7. 19, but then I took it off, so it was about to go back down again. Again, I don't know, like, maybe it's I mean, like every third or fourth breath, and when I'm talking, I'm finding that, like, if I'm just breathing, I breathe in through my nose, breathe out through my mouth with the hose right here. I'm just holding it, like, right in here, like, just under my lip, and because I can feel it there, just holding it right there. And the interesting thing about this is I can hold this right here in the open air, and this doesn't change at all, 20.9 the entire time. You can't put the camera on this, you know, you can believe me or don't believe me, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just showing you my own personal experience. So that's not that bad, but it does alarm. It doesn't stay in alarm the entire time, but it definitely comes down into the 18% range. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. We're talking for oxygen, we're talking percentage. With carbon dioxide, we start off talking parts per million before we get into percentages. And I just want to kind of shed a little light on that. So just stay steady at 20.9. Like, that barely changes. You go into a closet, I've found, and breathe in there a little while, it'll come down. But in your house, it kind of stays 20.9, maybe 20.8, doesn't change much. Then I tried out, just a bandana, and I'm not tying it on crazy tight, but we do have a tendency to kind of get these on there a little bit, and at a pinch I'll put a bandana on, fold it up a little bit if I don't have anything else, if I don't have a mask to wear when I'm doing something with dust. Hold on, fishing this thing up in here with my beard is a little tough. Now hold on, where's my lip? Oh, I'm not even under both layers. Bear with me. Just gonna show you what I come up with. Alright. Right under the lip. And I'm just gonna breathe on it. Breathe not on it, I guess, but out. So this is consistent for me that I'm gonna see this thing stay an alarm as long as I'm breathing. If I start talking, then I'm not letting out as much. It fell out already. Anyway, we got down to like 18.1. I've tried this several times. Wearing this, I've actually seen numbers as low as 15.8. Yeah, 15.8. Not just now, but in the past. I've done several of these. So 15.8, this is just, a bandana, you can even see a little light through it, doubled up. This is not, people are wearing like flannel and then doubled up cotton over that, like there's doubling up masks. N95, I don't think I've ever worn one of those. So this is just the things I have, like a doubled up bandana, super cheap paper mask. I've tried these are like, respirators that you can buy at the store. Like a hardware store. These tend to fit a little tighter than some of these other things I have on my face, especially with my beard. And I can tell right away, that they fit tighter. Get it right by my lip. This is bad. 17s we're in now. So, I don't even want to wear this anymore. I got down to 17.8 with that, and it was going down. We're up to 19.7. It's coming back up, but it'll alarm. Once again, I don't. You can't see it perfectly, but whatever. 20.3, 20.9. So this is not good. I find like this is really bad. This is really bad. The paper mask isn't horrible, and as much as this is kind of thick, there's a lot of holes in this outer fabric, and then it's a pretty thin inner layer. I do find that when I wear this, I don't get a lot of particles, and I do breathe a little better, but this one will make me feel lightheaded after a while. Now, we came up with this, and what this is here is just like a super light linen cloth. And we made it so that you could, if you wanted, put a string on it. So it's got loops that come up over the ears, and you can put a string on it on the bottom that'll tie it tightly around your neck, or you can just tie it around the back. And this is how, if we had to wear a mask, we were thinking we would do it. And I've got other thoughts about that, but now because it's open here, right, you can put this under here, and this isn't going to change much at all. I kind of found like when I did this, and I'm just holding it right by my lip, I'm at 20.9. It hasn't changed even 0.1%. Now if I hold it, right by my lip, and then sort of close this fabric around it, I get nothing. This is right under my mouth, and I am breathing right over the top of this hose. I'm just going to do like a few inhales with my nose and then exhales over the hose with my mouth. It usually does an alarm. We got down to 19.2. Huh. 19.5, 19.8. We're back up to 20.9 with me talking. I actually didn't expect this one to alarm at all. Staying at 20.9, that was interesting. Now the hose is not in my mouth. It's not right in front of my mouth. That was a big exhale to talk there. I got down to 19.3 for just a second. 19.3, 19, 18.8, 18.7, 18.6, wow. Surprised. 18.5, 18.3, wow. Huh. 19.3 we're back up to. Climbing again. 19.6. Huh. So this alarm sometimes. Okay. Now, generally we wouldn't have it like this. But if it's like this with the hose, this is my mouth. My hose right under here. I will find that even though no question, like this linen cloth, I find it's easier to breathe through, but if I take that off, I feel much better, no question about it, even after a short while. All right, so just to make the point, if you have 1,000 parts per million, 1,000 parts per million of CO2, and we're comparing that to this percentage in the oxygen, okay, that is 0.1%, 0.1%, so 1,000. So if we're talking about how with CO2, I'm not even going to get into oxygen deprivation. You know, you're going to get your blood sat, thing on there, and it's going to check your O2 saturation, and they've got a range. I think, like, from everything that I can read about the things that you could be breathing in, including carbon dioxide, the level of the oxygen that you're bringing in being low for a while before you actually see what is considered to be medically a significant oxygen saturation level change. Like, it takes a long time for that to happen, but what's going on in your body in the meantime? So 0.1%, we go from 20.9 to 20.8. If we get up to this 5,000 range, then we're looking at 20.9 down to 20.4. We haven't alarmed yet, right? This thing's not even going to alarm yet. We got to go from 20.9 down to 19.5. That's a whole percentage point lower. So now we're over 10,000. We're actually talking about 14,000. So to get this to alarm from 20.9 down to 19.4, actually, we're talking about 15,000 parts per million. That's only 15,000 parts per million. If you're replacing your oxygen with carbon dioxide. Now, we don't just exhale carbon dioxide, of course. We are exhaling oxygen and nitrogen and other things as well. In fact, the oxygen that we exhale is significant. We 16% or something. I don't remember exactly where it is, but it's not. It's we're still. That's why you can give somebody mouth to mouth and give them some oxygen when they have none. But at 5,000 parts per million carbon dioxide, you can have the feeling that your air quality is poor, stuffy air, which is, pay attention to that. But also you can have poor concentration, loss of attention, increased heart rate, slight nausea. You get into the 6 to 30,000 range, and there for even a short while, and that's concerning. There can be problems there, and you can be concerned over the 5,000 range that you could be over a length of time dealing with oxygen deprivation. And your weighted average over an 8-hour workday can't be above 5,000 parts per million as per OSHA. So, that's a big deal. So we're just going to kind of stop here. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview using the oxygen sensor, and then I'm going to make another video showing you my results with my CO2 meter.